Is that true? Is that how men operate?
Nah, women's so easy nowadays. You ain't got to say much. You ain't got to play them games.
Okay, I've got a question from Monique. I can say her name. What questions should you ask on a first date?
That's a great question. I think you should ask. I mean, I don't really know. You should let it be a natural conversation.
Okay.
You don't want it to be just an interview where you sit there and be like, hold on, I got one more question for you. You know, you want to have a natural conversation, but you got to figure out what's important to you. Do you want children? That's a 100% thing you want to get figured out. Are you you're a Christian? You know what I'm saying? What is your faith like? What's your relationship with God? What are your political views? I think you need to.
Who did you vote for?
See, my thing is that you don't have to come straight out and say who you voted for. You just have a conversation about politics and you get to the bottom of who they voted for.
Yeah.
You may not have to say necessarily, do you want children? But you start having a conversation about family and what does family mean to you, and you get an idea of that person's background.
Yeah.
You will probably get to the point where children will be up for discussion. So, you can be strategic and have a natural conversation where you bring up topics that will lead to, or you can draw an inference from what the person's values are.
Something one of my girlfriends who was a little older than me told me like 10 years ago is that when you're on a first date, as a female, as the girl, you ask the man questions to like see where his like truth is, because if you let a man ask you questions and you give the answer, you're like telling a man what you want, and then he'll like be those things, or like, you know what I mean, be what you want him to be for the first few weeks, just to like get in your panties.
Yeah.
So is that true? Is that how men operate?
Nah, women's so easy nowadays. You ain't got to say much. You ain't got to play them games.
Not all women, Brandon.
I know, I'm just joking.
So
not all men are asking questions just to get in the panties either. So some men want to be direct as well. Yeah. But it is true, you don't want to divulge on the first date. You don't want to give your whole playbook out there. You just met this person. Yes. That's why I said you want to have conversation. Yeah. And strategically, some people are introverted and they may not be talkers. So it may not work for everybody. But regardless, you just want to make sure you have a conversation and point out those things and talk about the things that are your deal breakers. Yeah. Like if a man is abusive and stuff like that,
you probably won't find out on the first date.
But you probably can find out his temperament on certain things, or maybe talk about things that will get him to communicate about his previous relationships. Yeah. I mean, and if you want to get nitty gritty, you'd be like, have anybody ever accused you of abuse? Straight up.
What would you? I would never ask a man on a first date.
If a woman asked me that, I'd be like, no. I get where you come from. You want to know. Look, this is a date.
Well, who's going to be like, well, yes, my last girlfriend?
No, what they don't, they may not say, yeah, I did it. Yeah. They say, man, women are crazy. They crazy. Oh. I had a woman accuse me of that, but I didn't do it. Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. I'll put that in the bank.